talks about Solomon and building his temple and all. It's very intricate and very detailed. But I think and I know we've been saying that, especially for those who've been going to baptism class, that this life is actually not about you. That worship is not about you. It's not even about me. It's not even about the praise team. It's not about how good we sound. It's not about how great our halls look. By the way, I wish our sanctuary was called the Hall of Justice. That was just, I read that, I was like, wow, Hall of Justice. That sounds so amazing. But in all that we do and all that we say is for the glory of God's name. And that's so counterintuitive to what we've been told all our lives, that it's all about us, that we have to achieve, that we have to work hard. And I'm not saying you shouldn't work hard, you should work hard. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe that there's not a person in this room, there's not a person in this universe who have done it by themselves, who made it by themselves. That everyone had some sort of help. That everyone, at some shape or form, needed encouragement. At some shape or form, everyone needed a reminder of a proper perspective of life. That yes, this life is not about us, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we have that true holiness is to degrade ourselves. That true holiness is to say, no, I don't matter. Actually, you do very much matter. That's so tempting to say that true holiness is when I beat myself and say to myself, it's all about God. It's generally, yes, it's about God. Yes, ultimately, it's about God, but at the same time, it's not at the expense of your life. Meaning, you do matter. That it does not give God glory to say, oh, I don't matter, or I'm just nothing, or I have no worth or value. No, it's true holiness is the idea of like the proper perspective of who you are in Christ. That God is not glorified when you are demeaned. That God is not glorified in your defeat. That God is not glorified when you speak bad about yourself. That you talk yourself down. But at the end of the day, God is glorified when you are lifted up, but that you give proper worship and proper honor and proper respects to who gave you that ability to excel. That when you say that I've gotten this A, or I have gotten this achievement, or that I've gotten this part of my life, that yes, I killed in the game, yes, I'm killing it in my sphere of influence, yes, I'm killing it in life, but at the end of the day, this is all made possible by God. And you know how those sports athletes, when they win a big game, and like, all glory to God that I can't do this without Jesus Christ, that is a picture, maybe whether they're perfect or not, the idea that I'm able to, like say, play this game at a high level because of God who's given me that ability. Yes, I acknowledge my hard work. Yes, I acknowledge my talents. But at the end of the day, talent and skill and work and the ability to be alive all comes from the God of the universe. God is not glorified when you choose to say, I'm nothing. Because God is not nothing. And where am I getting this from today's passage? Because when we look at Solomon's temple, it's very grand. And it's sandwiched right in between the idea that God's temple is being built, and he's talking about how God's building his temple, how like extravagant it is, how amazing it is. And in the middle of all that, we talk about how Solomon built his temple in the midst of all that, right? And so, in today's passage, it says in chapter 6, right before, you don't have to go there, but it's the idea that it talks about that Solomon built God's temple first. That his primary focus was to build God's temple first. And as he builds it, then he goes on and builds his temple. That's his palace, right? That he prioritized God first. See, the temptation is to believe that when we do not prioritize God in our life, that if we don't prioritize ourselves, that if we, for whatever case, prioritize God first, that we put ourselves at a disadvantage. That is a lie from the enemy. When we prioritize God first, we are never at a disadvantage. When we sacrifice for the Lord, we are never at a disadvantage. We're actually at the advantage. Even Peter, the apostle Peter, came before God and says, and then Jesus looks at Peter and says, hey, everyone else leave me right now. But what about you? And Peter says, we have given up everything for you, Jesus. Everything. So what do we have apart from you? We have nothing apart from you. We have given up everything. And Jesus looks at him and says, hey, you know what? This is the thing. Yeah, you've given up much. But man, when you sacrifice for me, just let you know that you'll be paid back tenfold. Whatever you sacrifice. It's not about like, oh, if I do this, God's going to give me this. No, it's the idea that Jesus was telling Peter, man, I know you sacrificed much, and I acknowledge that. I know you've given much. I acknowledge that. I know what you've done for my kingdom. I acknowledge that. But when it comes to the kingdom of God, and when you come to sacrifice before the Lord, at the end of the day, when you sacrifice for God, that you are not at a disadvantage. But you're actually at an advantage. That when you champion God, God champions you. It's so tempting to believe that, man, if I don't worry just about myself first, then I cannot help anyone else. Or I'm gonna be at a disadvantage. No, when it comes to championing God, when you champion God in your life, God will champion you. And I will have no one else championing God. Because He can only do it perfectly. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I just kind of sensed that this week was a particularly tough week for some of us. That it was a week where, in the midst of serving, in the midst of whatever the case may be, just coming to church and trying to live that Christian life, it could be very tough. It could be very draining. It could be very like you don't see the fruit of it all. Like I don't see myself benefiting from any of this, or I don't see the fruits of my labor, or all I see is myself as getting drained and defeated and broken. And I just sense this weariness in our midst. For me, I believe that the kingdom of God is experienced through relationships. That you experience God's love through relationships. That you experience God's goodness through relationships. That as God Himself is 3 in 1, He calls His people to be the physical. We see there's an invisible God, but there's a visible church. And therefore, a lot of times, I said this at the senior high service last Friday, a lot of times you are actually the closest thing to God that some people will ever see. The closest thing to Jesus. That how you live your life will maybe the very gospel that they'll ever read. Sometimes they'll never even read the Word of God, but they'll read the Word of God off of you. That how you conduct yourself, how you choose to live, will be either a reflection of Christ or a reflection of something else. That we're all as mirrors. That whatever we point to is what we'll reflect. So if we reflect ourselves to addiction or anger, that is exactly the thing we're going to reflect onto people. But if our mirrors, if ourselves are pointed to Christ, that will reflect Christ to the people around us. That the kingdom of God is experienced in our midst, the way we interact with each other. You know, sometimes people say, God, I can't feel your presence, I can't feel your love. And a lot of times, that mission is given to someone in the same exact way, saying, you know what, I need you to go pray for someone. And then, but this is the thing, sometimes we say, God, but I don't see, when I first came, I shared this story where God called me to pray for someone at a retreat that I was not invited to. I just showed up because I had to pick up the guest speaker. And then God was telling me, go pray for this person. I said, God, why would I do that considering that I'm not even supposed to be here? And how strange would it be when I come against this person, hey, can I pray for you? And they're like, who are you? What are you doing here? You're not on this list. Like, why'd you, like, I crashed a retreat, right? But at that moment, is my comfort going to be determine my obedience, or just my love for God being determine my obedience? See, at that very moment, God gave me a task, and I said, you know what, God, I can or cannot choose. I can either choose to obey Him or I'm not. And at that very moment, God was telling me to go pray for this person. Why? Because He has given me the mission to be Jesus for that person at that very moment. To bring comfort to that person at that very moment. But at that very moment, I chose not to be a representation of Christ in His team. A lot of times, God will give you a mission, God will give you a task, God will give you a place where He needs you to minister on His behalf to someone. But whether we obey or not will determine if this person may experience God's goodness or the kingdom of God in their life today. That you very much matter. That you very much matter. That what you do very much matters. That you are part of a grand scheme, a grand puzzle, where if you don't fulfill your position is empty. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Every piece matters, no matter if the tile is just blue. There's absolutely no design to it. It still helps complete the picture. And a lot of times, we have an incomplete picture of Christ because not everyone is stepping up to the plate and fulfilling their spot on the big puzzle. That God has cut and shaped you in a certain way where only you can step up to the plate and only you can fulfill that mission. And God is waiting for you to rise up and say yes to Him. To say that, God, it is about you, but at the same time, I know that I'm a very important part of this plan, of this puzzle. That God needs every one of us to step up and say, you know what, I'm not just going to be a consumer, but I'm also going to be very much a part of this community. That I'm tired of playing church, and I want to be the church. It's so easy to play the part. It's so easy to look the part. It's so easy to say, I am a Christian, but not live as a Christian. Again, I firmly believe that the world is waiting for the church to rise up and be the church. The reason why sometimes people have such a nasty or wrong view of the church is because there's so many people that profess Christ but don't act like Christ. And I'm not saying about being perfect. I'm not talking about being perfect. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't need Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ was perfect for us. We couldn't do it. But it's the idea that on this side of Jesus coming back, that it's about progressing forward. Do I look like Jesus Christ a little bit more today than I did yesterday? And that is my goal. That is my intention. And not just for my own benefit, but for the benefit of the people around us. That at the end of the day, that my goal is to glorify Christ. But at the end of the day, at the same time, that is not at the expense of me saying, I'm nothing, I'm nothing. Why? Because God made you with purpose, God made you with intentionality, and God has given you a destiny. That everyone needs to rise up. That as we make much of God, that in the process that we get glorified. And as we get glorified, God gets glorified. When we choose to say that this is made possible by Jesus. It's like an advertisement. This is all made possible by Jesus Christ, right? It's like an advertisement. But that's truly what we are. We're advertising the glory of God. Our actions should be advertising the glory of God. That our mentality should be advertising the glory of God. That our excellence should be advertising the glory of God. That everything that we do is a reflection of His goodness. I'm going to read a passage from Philippians. I know I don't really go to other Bible passages during service, but especially for today, I feel like this is necessary. You don't have to go there, but Philippians chapter 2, it says this. It's talking about Jesus Christ, who being the very nature of God did not consider equality with God something to be used to His own advantage. Rather, He made Himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. I know that's something contrary to what I was saying, but I want you to just pay attention real quick. Rather, He made Himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. And being found in appearance as a man, He humbled Himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Therefore, God exalted Him to the highest place and gave Him the name that is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee shall bow, in heaven, on earth, and under the earth, and every tongue acknowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. That Jesus Christ, when He came here on earth, He already knew that He was God. He didn't have to fight for it. He didn't have to contend for it. He already knew that He was God. And so therefore, because He was so secure in who He was able to go down and humble Himself. Because He knew who He was able to serve the people around Him. And therefore, He knew He was God. He didn't have to fight for that title because He already has that title. And therefore, He humbles Himself to a servant to obey God the Father's commands. That you are to be a servant and to die on behalf of people that will reject you. And God and Jesus, I'm on board. That I'll humble myself. That I will come down from my heavenly realm. I'll come down, take on the form of the created things that I've created myself, and I will die on their behalf. And that as He humbled Himself, as He made much about glorifying God the Father, that His ministry was about simply glorifying God the Father. That I don't do this for myself. I'm here to glorify God. I'm here to point to God the Father. I'm here to show you God. And He obeyed to the very end, even death on the cross. But this is the thing, He didn't stay on the cross, He didn't stay in the grave, but God the Father exalted Him. He lifted Him up. And see this thing, the places where you sacrifice, the places where you have given up much for God, just know that the places where you have given up the most, that's where God's going to glorify you the most. God is going to glorify you the most in those areas where you've given up the most. It's so tempting to say, if I just give this part, I don't know, what's going to happen? The realization is this. Where you've given up, God will glorify. When you give it up for His name, that's what He's going to glorify. It's so tempting to believe, oh man, I don't know. When you don't live for yourself, when you give up your life, you actually gain life. But when you try to say, I'm going to take care of my own life, I'm going to do it by myself, that's when you lose your life. And when it comes to following Jesus Christ, the temptation is to either do it, just worry about your own life, or get it a little bit twisted and say, you know what, I don't matter. See, this is the thing. Jesus, he never, in any moment of his life, serving as a human being and both God, he never for a second doubted who he was. When Jesus Christ at the Last Supper, when he was in the room, and everyone was, they come in, they're getting ready for the Last Supper, the last moment before he gets arrested. They're all sitting there, right? And they're waiting for someone to go wash the feet. Usually when someone washes the feet, it's usually the person of the lowest rank. And so everyone's just sitting there, waiting for someone to wash the feet of everyone else. It's that awkward silence, everyone just stands, sitting there. I can just imagine Jesus and the disciples are all sitting like this. Awkward silence. And Jesus is sitting there, he knows exactly what's going on, and all the disciples are like, Like they can't start until someone washes their feet get all like washed. It's getting awkward and more awkward. So Jesus finally stands up, puts on a servant's clothes, kneels before his disciples, the very disciples that are his disciples, not he's their disciple. He gets on his knees, he starts washing everyone's dirty feet. Have you ever washed those feet? One time in Panama, I decided, I don't know what made me believe that this was the right thing to do. But it was when we were in Panama, it was, not only is it dirt, but it's like mud. And everyone has like these wonderful shoes called Crocs. Yeah. What are those? You know? But everyone's sloshing through like these rivers, these like mud, it's dirt, encrusted feet. And this thing, like, it smelled. It was like the last day of the mission trip. And we're all huddled into this tiny little room, no bigger maybe than that media room back there, like 40 of us. We're all sweating and we have dirty feet. And I'm just sitting there as a team leader and I was like, oh man, what are we gonna do? It's like last service. And then I remember it was like, guys like, wash their feet. And I was like, what, Jesus? It's like, wash their feet, serve them. I was like, I don't know, Jesus. Like, they've been in the mud for the whole day. Everyone smells like nonsense, you know. Please just wash their feet. And so I remember I told my team partner, for those who know Pastor DJ, he's like this big. When he does something, he does things to the next level. He does extra. I said, I don't have a bowl. Because everyone's praying worship. I told him, I don't have a bowl. I don't even got water. But we gotta wash these people's feet. And he's like, for real though? I was like, for real. So he's like, find me something. So he goes, he runs out. First, he didn't have to run. He runs out. And I'm just like praying, worshiping. And he comes out, you know those giant like liter bottles? So he brings it, he slices it with his knife. And he's just like, and I'm like, whatever. We have this like ghetto like bowl of water. And I'm just washing everyone's feet. This is the thing. I have 40 members. After the first person's like foot washing, the water was black. And at that moment, conveniently, the AC went off. So now it started to get humid. Now everyone's starting sweating again. So after the first foot wash, I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked at, there's like 29 more people to go. I said, all right, you come in. I was like, at this point, like after number 2 and 3, I was like, I don't know if I'm washing your feet or making them a little bit more dirty, you know? It's like, this water is nasty. And it is disgusting. Because first of all, I don't know about you, I don't like touching other people's feet. Because there's some things you see that you don't want to see and feel things that you don't want to, like some people's feet are calloused to the max. I'm just like, I'm like touching it and I feel like they're like exfoliating my hand as I'm washing their feet. I'm just like, oh. I was like, but Jesus did it, you know? And I'm just like, yes, Lord, you know? And then they're like, and it's it's like some people don't even like being their foot touched, so it's like they're cringing, and I'm cringing like, this is not good for me either, man. And then we just went through like towel after towel. All the towels that were white as snow were like black as the ground, and it was just disgusting. Some people's feet, like it kicked me in the face. Like not physically, but like the smell kicked me in the face, and it was just so like disgusting. But I remember at the same time, there's always going to be those few people that during that ceremony they start crying because they're so moved. Like, oh, they're so, like it's crazy. But as I'm washing their feet, and I just imagine Jesus, right? The God of the universe. He could have always went, clean feet. God, that's it. But no, he humbled himself. He humbled himself. He goes on his feet and he starts cleansing the feet of the disciples. And even Peter in his craziness is like, Jesus, you can't wash my feet. He's like, if you don't let me wash feet, you have nothing, you have no part of me. All right then, Jesus, then wash my whole body. Right? Just be quiet. Just wash his feet. But as I looked at that, as Jesus humbled himself to a point of being a servant, almost like degrading himself, but not really. At that very moment, in that room, as he was serving his disciples, I bet you in that very moment, when he was doing a servant's job, that there was still no doubt in their minds who was still truly the leader of that group. Because it's so easy, but if I go in a position of serving, are people going to see me as a leader, or are people going to see me in a position of authority, or someone's going to see me as like someone lowly that I am? See, Jesus was so secure in his identity that he was able to serve even the lowest of jobs. There was a story of this mayor where this evangelist's daughter saw this mayor, and this guy was. He was going through his mayor things, like he was out in public, and this guy out of nowhere, I guess he didn't like him or not, just kind of like said something under his breath and kind of like shoulder bumped him, right? And for those who don't know, if you get like shoulder bumped, like someone like does that, and you're like, all right, I gotta show that I'm tough, I'm gonna put you down. But this guy says something under his breath, nudges him, and his like security guard's like, do you want us to handle this guy? You want us to handle him? I mean, take care of him? Like, put him in his place? But the mayor just looks at him, no. Don't do it. Because I can handle it. I know who I am. I don't have to prove myself to people. I don't have to prove that I'm the mayor. I already know I am the mayor. So let that man go. Let's just go about our business. He was so secure. And he was so secure in himself that he was even beyond offense. Now, why am I saying all this? And I pray something come up. For real. Solomon, in his time and culture, that a king's authority was not fully established or fully recognized until he had a palace. That was the culture in that day. That if the king didn't have a palace, that people didn't recognize that person's authority. But this is the thing. It said in Scripture that Solomon built for 7 years God's temple first. And then it took him 13 years to fully build his house. So he didn't rush it. He didn't rush it. He took his time. And before even he thought about working on his own house, to establish his authority, he went ahead and built God's temple first. And what does this tell us about Solomon? That one, his priorities are correct in that he made God first. As I said before earlier in the service, that when you champion God, God champions you. And this is the thing, God very much championed Solomon.
That's right.
He very much championed him. That when Solomon in his see, I bet you in that moment he could have been like, oh man, I need to establish myself first as king, and then I'll build God's temple. See, isn't that the mentality that we have so much in our day and age? That once I get my stuff done first, and then I will serve God. But then this is reality. When we have that mentality, the reality is, oh, I will first finish my stuff and then serve God. We never end up serving God. And we're always struggling, we're always hustling. Solomon, he made God much first, and in that process, this thing, God continues to bless him. God continues to shower his graces upon him. Why? Because Solomon's kingdom was unparalleled. His kingdom was just unmatched in terms of wealth, beauty, majesty, authority, and influence. Why? Because God was very much the center of it all. God was very much the main character of it all. And so Solomon, in his wisdom, said, you know what? God, if God is not the center of this, this is not going to last. If God is not made much of this, then this is not going to last. If God is not the source and strength and the purpose of all this, this is not going to last. Guys, whatever we do, if we don't do it for the glory of God, it's not going to last. It's going to fade away. It's not going to measure up. And so Solomon had the priority to say, you know what? God first. But at the same time, he didn't say, oh, I'm nothing. No, he still took care of his issues. He still took care of his things. Why? Because he built his own palace. And God establishes his authority amongst nations. Remember, when you champion God, God champions you. And this is the thing. God is not glorified when you make yourself seem like nothing. See, Solomon's temple, Solomon's palace, it was amazing. It was amazing. He didn't have to rush it. He knew who he was in God. God already established him. And so for us, we must ask ourselves this question. Is God the primary focus of our lives? And as I said before in the past, it's so much not God over things, but can we say God in all things? This temptation is at school or God, relationship or God, future or God. Well, why not God in the future? Why not God in your school? Why not God in your work? Why not God in your studies? And why not God in your relationship? Because why does it have to be either or? Why not better, God, I invite you into this, and so that you be glorified, and as you be glorified, I'm being glorified, and that as we're doing this circle of glorification, that at the end of the day, me being glorified is only going to make you look better. Why? Because you are the artist, and I'm your masterpiece. When you see a person's piece of art, and you congratulate, oh, this is amazing artwork, this painting, this sculpture. And when you start lifting up the art piece, that you're actually glorifying the artist. That if God is the artist and you're the art piece, that when you get glorified, it gives God glory. Not the other way around where it says, you know what, oh, I'm nothing. Well, are you saying that God is a terrible artist? Because he's not. You very much matter. And that when we are glorifying God, that we need to have proper perspective of who we are. That yes, we are good and great, but not greater than God. That yes, we are important, but not more important than God. That yes, we are beautiful, whether figuratively or physically, but not more so than God. That everything needs a proper perspective. That it's God first, we are second, but in that process, when it's properly aligned, that it is beautiful and full in this picture of intent that God had in the beginning. BYG. Yes, we've been saying that it's all about God, but not at your expense. So today, rather than saying, may I sacrifice myself so God can be lifted up. No, first of all, God doesn't need your sacrifice for him to be lifted up. He already lifted up. Whether we glorify him, God is glorified. Whether we acknowledge him as king, he's already king. He wants us to have proper perspective of who we are and who he is, and that we glorify him in and through our lives. That the vision of this BYG is this, that we experience the king and his kingdom, not only in our lives, but through our lives. So my prayer for you today is this, that as you totally kill it in your life, meaning you're totally owning it in school or whatever project that you have, work, that you put proper perspective, say, you know what, as I'm doing it, that this is all made possible by God, for God, and through God.